Kimberly. Hi, everyone. I always love to say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good middle of the night, depending on where you're listening from, watching from. If you're live right now, or if you're watching the recording, welcome to Soul, Wit, and Wisdom. Let me just get centered on my introduction of this woman. I'm not kidding. And you know, she kind of like, what are you? Oh my gosh! But like, you'll know what I mean as you listen to her speak, because I don't know how she does it, but every word she chooses is like, it's gold. So allow me to formally introduce you to Kimberly Baker. Kimberly is a breakthrough and empowerment coach with a gift for sparking the inner knowing that resides within each of us. If you've ever wondered what's my next step or felt like I just can't seem to get there, she's your guide. Kimberly is the creator of the Soulful Wealth series, dedicated to inspiring women to show up fully in their purpose, fulfill their goals, and powerfully create their best life. I will tell you who she is for me, but Kimberly, welcome. Thank you so much for coming on and having this chat with me today. I'm so honored to have you.
Here.
I know, we're gonna have so much fun. All right, so the context of Soul, Wit, and Wisdom really is, given the current climate that we're experiencing right now with COVID-19 and the world basically being quarantined, right? We're shut down, we're shut in. My intention for these one-on-one interviews is just to go deep. So you've been on the collective conversation on Sunday mornings that we're now calling Rise Up Leaders. And it is this collective conversation around creating possibility where really we can't see any. So creating possibility out of chaos or despair or overwhelm or fear. So I want you to basically what I want you to do is tell your story. So tell your story, because you have, I mean, your story, I know your story. I know your story of like, your life that was all the things.
Yes.
That crumbled, it crumbled. And the beauty and the gifts that came out of that, what I would call, and I keep saying this, but like the phoenix rising out of the ashes. So give the viewers, because I know this story about you, but give the viewers your kind of, here's who I was, here's what I thought, here's what I created, here's what I lost, and here's what I discovered, because I know that's really what you do.
Yeah. And I love that you're asking me this, because it's very timed, and I'll explain more later. So I was working roughly 7 years ago now. I was working corporate.
Mm-hmm.
On the outside, I looked very successful. I had a lovely house that we built together, me and my husband, 2 brand new cars in the driveway. And I used to go to bed at night knowing that something wasn't right. And I had anxiety at the time. And the way that I think I can describe it is I couldn't even look at it, because intuitively I think I knew that if I looked at all of the things that didn't work for me, we're going for counseling and thinking, well, I can't tell her everything doesn't work. I can't tell her my marriage isn't working, my job isn't working. Mm-hmm. I feel inauthentic in my friendships. Like, I can't, like, if it's everything,
what do I have?
Yeah. It must be, and that I must be crazy or there's something wrong with me. So I lived in that space for many years. And this gnawing anxiety, like I can't look at it, because the feeling was if I looked at it, I would demolish everything.
Yeah.
There would be nothing left.
Yeah.
And the fear was there would be this regret that like I ruined my life, and that I possibly was ruining my life because I just couldn't like figure out what was wrong with me.
Right.
So probably like 5 marriage therapists later that I'm going to by myself. And my husband was amazing, by the way. This wasn't necessarily that he was, this awful person or anything like that. I came to a day, and it was, I think it was February 2nd.
Oh, I love that you know the day.
It came to a head. I can't even explain it to you, but it was like I knew I needed to leave. And prior to that, I had basically, it's funny. I had got a package from my corporate job, but really I had like ended that. I had burned those bridges and I was not welcome back. So I find myself, I'm going through, and I should put a little more mix into here.
Let's do.
I've also been trying to have children.
Mm-hmm.
So years of infertility. I'm leaving my corporate job that was my my pillar of success that I had worked for 6 years climbing the ladder. My marriage is falling apart. People are shocked. Like my stepdad's feedback is like, I never saw this coming for you, because on the outside everything looks so successful. So my life burns to the ground. And it looks like I am the one like leading the charge. And the only way that I can explain it is when I left all these things, it was like I didn't realize I'd been holding my breath for 5 years. Like just holding it. So I left, and here is the thing. And this is where I see that we are right now. So I'm so excited to talk about this because I didn't know where to
just hold on to your seats.
Something always comes out.
Yeah.
This is where I see that I am right now. I feel like we are right now.
Yeah.
So burned everything to the ground. And I left thinking, and this is probably why I stayed in a unhappy, inauthentic life for so long. I remember thinking, I will never have children. I will never have kids. I'm 35, getting divorced. I've had years of infertility. Like, there's no way in hell. Or I actually remember thinking, this is awful, but it was a true thought. I should be very selective. Should I meet someone else of what our life looks like together? Because we're going to have one hell of an IVF bill. Oh, if that's even possible. Like, I should meet a man, you know what I mean, who can afford to pay for this with me, because it just in my mind was like, I'm leaving everything, and I screwed it all up. So.
And did you have it that it was all like, it was like, there's something wrong over here, there's something wrong with me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Because my husband at the time was not as unsatisfied. But what I didn't know was that he was just disconnected. So and I think maybe that's how he coped.
Yeah.
So February 2nd, things come to a head. If you had have asked me February 1st, if I would have been getting separated and leaving a marriage, I would have been like, no. It's February 2nd. We have a long, drawn-out conversation. I see this window, and I'm like, you know what? I truthfully, we should separate. He agrees. February 2nd, I leave, and I'm in this place of like, I don't have a home. I don't have a job. I'm financially totally unstable. I have no idea what the future holds. On paper, it looks absolutely awful. What I don't know in leaving that, and keep in mind, when I'm leaving, it's like I'm stepping off a cliff. There is nothing. What I don't know is that when I truly stepped off of that cliff and let everything burn to the ground, I mean burn to the ground, and burn to the ground is when you don't know. Like, there's a quote this morning. So this morning I was in the basement, and I used to teach yoga. And there was this little book that we would take out, and you'd read like a thing before to kind of like present the class. It was almost kind of oracle-ish, because you never knew what it was that you're going to read. So I'm downstairs grabbing some food because it's our new like stable pantry. Haven't seen this book in probably 5 years, and I grabbed it. And this is what it said.
For today?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Sometimes the reason we don't know is that what's coming is going to be very different from anything we've experienced before. Even if we knew, we couldn't relate to it because it's that new and it's that different.
This came up on my interview yesterday. It's the knowing. Yep, keep going.
It's the knowing. Because sometimes in this time, coronavirus, I know and I don't know. I'm like, guys, I have no answers for you.
Right.
I'm going to speak with
you. Yeah.
This is where I'm at. So when you don't know, and I mean you truly do not know, like, I can't get back into corporate. The contacts that I had, the company even disintegrated so that all of the upper management that I was in, they are like out of jobs. It was a niche market in international insurance. Anyways, it's one of those things where like, I have no idea. I don't even know where I'm living. I'm living in my brother's, he has this little, like, it's not a utility room, but kind of is. He's moved into a bedroom. Like, just total not knowing, okay?
Yeah.
So when you fully let go, and I mean a full ending, okay? That is when the next thing comes. So what I did not know then, what I could have never known, was that February 2nd, I was getting separated, and that I would be pregnant with my first little girl, unexpectedly, delightfully unexpectedly, with like the partner of my life 4.5 months later, which is insane. It's insane.
I've heard this story, and I still get, and maybe it's because of the climate and the conversation that's happening on the planet.
Yeah.
Love it.
So that is, for me, the power of letting go. And that's the work that I do with a lot of women, because somewhere, and I get it, like there's that gnawing, and it's like, why can't you just be happy? Why can't you just be happy with what you have? Why can't you just shut up? And I would have why I went to so many therapists was I just wanted to fix me. Fix me meant like, just shut the fuck up. Like, just be happy. You have this amazing career. You travel to these exotic vacations. You're driving a brand new vehicle out of just sheer like entertainment. Every 12 months, my husband worked for an automotive company. Like, what is wrong with you? And it's not that there was anything wrong with me. It was like that thing that was right with me, I was not listening. And the scary thing was I knew if I listened, like unleashing a beast. It's like when you unleash like the rage that somewhere collectively females sometimes feel, and you know that if like you really tap into it, you might just lose yourself. But there's a clearing in that. So this is why I love that we're talking about this right now. This is what I have been experiencing. I have had, so when we first found out about Corona, you and me talked. I had a few videos I did. I could not sleep because I was so excited. No, I know. I'm so scared. Let me tell you.
You feel a little bit guilty about it, don't you? Because I do. Because I'm like,
I feel naive, if that makes sense. But I want to tell you guys, like, that was my inner knowing. That same knowing that was like, Kim, something's not right. Something is not right. And it's like, get off my back. I don't know what it is. Like, I've done all the things. That was my inner knowing coming out and telling me, like, where we were going was answering your heart's greatest desire, was abundance on a cellular level that you have never experienced before. It was like, imagine if you knew your worth. You knew that as a human soul, without a doubt, you knew like fact that your ability to be a powerful creator, to create resources, that's literally your birthright, that's what you do. You knew that as fact with every fiber of your being.
No question.
And from which then you would create your life. That was what was on the table. And I could not sleep for a week. I would wake up at 4 a.m. and all this stuff would be streamed through. And people were having such a contrasting experience.
I know.
And I kind of I dimmed back a little bit, thinking I want to be respectful because I understand that not everyone is feeling this.
Right.
And yet this is when I tap in my inner knowing. So that was like, to me, the mountaintop, like B. Like, you're here at A, where you're going is B. How exciting is that? It's like, it's so exciting. That was like 2 weeks ago. Let me tell you my experience this week, today. For probably the past, Jason would know for sure, 4 nights, 5 nights, 6 nights, I dream every night that I am back in a situation somewhere in my life. It's not quite a nightmare, but it's like certainly a stressful situation. So a couple nights ago, I was in a hotel room with my ex-husband. We were talking not about getting back together, but somehow I was with him, and it was all this stuff again. 2 nights ago, I dreamt that I was back in my corporate career. And here's the crazy thing. It was so real. I remember I could never, if you asked me this, I would never know what the coffee mugs were that were on my desk, my coworker's desk. The coffee mugs down to the T of what they were. Everything was the same. And it was a situation where I could not find my laptop. The CEO was in. We had offices all over the world. The CEO was in from like Paris, and I didn't have my laptop. I couldn't do the presentation. And I was going to, I was ashamed and fall through the cracks. Okay, that was a couple nights ago. What else? Oh, and I'll tell you why. There's a reason. Hold with me here.
You can see why I wrote. I listened to Kimberly with bated breath, every single word. And keep going.
I don't know how to explain it.
I love it.
Then every night, okay. Then there was an uncomfortable situation with a ex-brother-in-law that was like 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
God, 20 years ago. But I wake up and the same feeling was recreated. Like, this has been happening to me every night. I get up and I'm like, I'm weary.
Mm.
Where are we going tonight? And on one level, my partner's like, you are like full of fear. I'm like, I know.
Mm.
I don't feel full of fear, but my subconscious, like all these things are happening. So I tune in and I'm like, what is going on? How do you go from the mountaintop of so excited to like a week of everything that traumatically has ever happened to me?
Right.
It going through. And thank God for the knowing, because this is the part that like saves my butt every time. This is what was explained to me. Because it's ending.
Wow.
Because you're stepping into something new, and it's new like this. It's
Yeah.
new like you've never gone there before.
Yeah.
And you need to let go of all these things. And clearly, in each of these situations, I was holding on to something.
Mm.
I didn't remember it, but from 20 years ago, I was like, oh my God, I remember that
Right.
party and how awkward it was. And I didn't want to say something, and I didn't. And he said, you know, and I'm reliving it in a dream. Or the pressure of back when I worked corporately, and what if I fail? So all of these things, they're endings. And what I believe we're in right now is the endings. And it's grieving.
Right.
And it's change of like how I would move things forward. There was a physicality to it. We're even looking at moving, and it's like when we would go work with different investors to look at like properties, and there was a whole doing that happened with it, and not knowing how to do the doing because that's changed. How do I still get the result? So it's like a lot of the things that used to work, they're ending.
Right. The construct.
Yes.
Yeah.
The thing is that I take myself back to is I've been through dramatic burn to the ground. I don't know where it's going endings. And the incredible thing about them, the reason why like you subconsciously pray for them, is they bring about a true new beginning.
Yeah.
Like if anyone could tell you right now, they knew it was going to happen. They said if they could say, you know what, or let's say we didn't close things fully, and you could kind of see where we were headed and where we were going. Like the economy's going to come back. We have a date now. It's 7 days. The paycheck's going to come in. There'd be a feeling of like, well, you're just waiting.
Right.
You're waiting.
Right.
But that waiting has shifted into this unknown and this uncertainty because things are ending.
Yeah.
So the way that I was thinking of it, because I was thinking of it today, and I'm like, where the hell am I? Where am I in this journey? I thought, oh, I know where I am. And the thing that comes to mind is like Lord of the Rings. So I'm not a huge Lord of the I might get this wrong, guys. Forgive me.
Forgive
But in
her.
the general essence of it, it's like was it the little guy's name's Frodo? You're gonna be right? Okay, so I'm telling you. There's this journey. You're gonna go to a really dangerous place. You're gonna go to the mountaintop. Someone needs to do it. And in that moment, you're wide-eyed and you're like, yes. And you say yes because you can feel your destiny.
Yeah.
Like you could feel his destiny. Like, how could it be me? But oh my God, there's this part that like draws me forward and knowing that like we could do this.
Yeah.
So he like volunteers, little hobbit man. That's like the knowing of B, where the mountaintop is, okay?
Yeah.
Here's what happens when you go on a journey. You're excited. High five, we know where we're going. And no sooner do you step into the forest on day 2, and it's cold, and there's no second breakfast, or whatever they used to say. And you're like, what the hell was I thinking?
Right.
I'm missing this. I'm a little hot and whatever. We've never been here before. This is stupid. I want to go back. Or the anger. Why couldn't someone else do it? Why did so-and-so screw up the planet? These people, like wherever it is, it all comes up. And you're temporarily, like you're kind of blind when you're in the forest. It's like, welcome into the fog.
Yes.
All the good stuff's going to happen in the transformation because you're going to face your fears in the fog. It's not when you can see the mountaintop that it's like, that's not when you become the butterfly.
Yeah.
No, it's the journey.
Yeah.
That's the part that I realized, oh my God, Kim, be compassionate with yourself. You're in the journey. You started. This is it. This is like day 2 of camping. And well, yes, you are going to the mountaintop, and it's going to be all of those things. It doesn't mean that there's a transformation that doesn't get to take place. along the way, and it's not comfortable.
Yeah. Yes. Woo! Love me some Kimberly Baker. And that's why I wanted you to come in here and talk about this, because there, you know, part of me is like, I am still on the mountaintop. Like I am still so connected to the knowing. And so for people watching, how would you describe the knowing?
Okay, so the knowing for me, I had a feeling you're going to ask me this too.
Of course you did.
Because it's okay, I believe everyone has it.
Yeah.
I don't know the ways in which other people always activate it.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it came at a time when I was on my knees.
Yep.
And I was thinking if I'd share this story because it's a really personal story to me, but I'm going to share.
Okay.
So I'm pregnant unexpectedly. When I had left my corporate job, I went back to school to be a nutritionist. So I'm in school to nutrition. I'm doing it part-time, even like before I left. So this has been going on for years, me working towards being a nutritionist. And the summer comes and I graduate, and no sooner do I guess like July I graduate, but like 8 weeks later, not even I'm pregnant. And the way they do it is you actually finish your program, and then in September they come back and you have your graduation ceremony.
Is this your first baby?
This is my first baby, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I am going to this graduation ceremony, and I'm with my friends that I have been in part-time school with for 2 years, working towards this. And I didn't tell anyone, very few people, that I was getting separated. And some of them knew that we were trying to have a baby, like me and my husband, because that had been something I'd shared, because I'd been with him for 2 years. But very few people did I let them know that we were separated.
Mm.
Let alone did I let them know that I was in a new relationship. It was very new. And all of this upheaval, like this is something that my ex-husband usually would have come with. This is something where my new partner is actually going to like see my parents because he's coming there to celebrate this graduation. So I'm getting ready to go backstage, and I see my friend Rosemary, and I say to her, she's like, "How are you? You know, we're trying to like really quickly catch up." I said, "I'm really good. I'm going to tell you something. I'm actually like, I'm pregnant." And she goes, "Oh my God." And I go, "I know, but I left my husband, and it's not with my husband." And she looks at me, and I see that she starts to cry. And she grabs a tissue and she's going like this. And what the thing that I know about Rosemary is that she was divorced before, and it was very painful for her.
Mm-hmm.
So she's grabbing the tissue, and I don't know what's happened. Like, I'm like, am I tripping? I don't know.
Right.
And then she looks at me and she says, "Kim," she goes, "I've had a really difficult couple months. That's the best news. I'm so happy.
Mm.
Thank you so much for sharing that with me. I really needed that." And she grabs my hand, rewind moving. See my friend Josie. And she's like, "Oh my God, how are you?" And he's like, "Are you excited? What have you been doing?" And I said,
I'm having a hard time hearing you.
"Oh, sorry, I'll speak up." So I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good.
Yeah.
So I say to her, it's crazy that I'm pregnant.
Yeah.
She goes, "Oh my God." And I go, "It's not with my husband." She's like, "Oh my God." And she's ever saying to me, "Who is it with?" I'm like, "Do you see that guy over there?" And she's like, "Oh, you're going to have gorgeous babies." And I'm like, "Thank you." So I'm telling these people, and it's feeling really, and they're so happy.
Yeah.
Okay. We're marching, getting closer to, they're taking me down this underneath the stage. We're going to come up. And I'm sitting there, and we have to be quiet because we can hear the people that are on the stage. And I'm like, I need to go to the washroom. I need to go to the washroom right now. And I'm like, cap my gown. I go into the washroom. I slam the door, and I can just feel like the hot tears come down. Or that feeling where you're holding it in.
Yeah.
No, almost like you need to throw up that like you are this close to breaking down.
Right.
Have a good cry, close the door, and I remember saying to God, if this is such a happy thing, why does it feel so dark?
Mm.
And there was a voice, clear as day, that said to me, because your eyes are closed.
Mm.
And that was the very first time that I had my knowing.
Mm.
Now, it is different for everyone.
Yeah.
But once I accessed that, it was a place that I could always go back to.
So your knowing is your connection to God. That's your knowing. Your knowing is like, yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know, like, there's times where I'm like, yes, it's God. There's times where I think it's my higher self, it's my soul, all those things
Yep.
together. And the way that I access it is just like, it's sometimes it's desperation, sometimes it's solitude.
Yeah.
I was really afraid, um, leading into the coronavirus. We'd done like our first shop, and we kind of thought like, this is crazy, you know, I think it's going to be fine. Like when you were feeling out if this is real, if this is not real. And my mother-in-law's like, you guys really need to go get groceries. Like, I know you guys aren't big stockpilers. You need to go and get some things. And we went, and there was a vibe. There was just a vibe in like
Yeah.
Costco. And I
Yeah.
came and I cried, and I thought, I'm afraid, like what's going to happen? I don't know. And then that night I took a bath and I closed my eyes. And again, it was just this like knowing.
Mm-hmm.
And the beautiful thing about your intuition is it's an experience. So no one can take it away from you. It's not like when someone says it's going to be okay and you believe them. It's like a knowing.
Yeah. Yeah. It is tapping into it. I mean, it's all of it. For me, it's all of it. It's intuition, it's higher self, it's spiritual self, it's Christ self, it's God, it's nature, it's the oneness, it's the connection that we feel to another human being, to ourselves, to like tapping into. When I say higher self, I actually mean that that's really who I am. You know, it really is who I am, is authentic, divine, not of this physical plane. That's the truth. That's the truth of who you are. That's the truth of who I am. That's the truth of who we all are as human beings in this experience. So I think I've been doing work on myself for a really long time, thinking kind of like what you were talking about earlier, which is, what's wrong with me that I'm not happy? Because I had those moments like right out of college. Mine was, everyone I know has graduated college, is working in their field, they're doing, and with every fiber of my being, I was like, there's no way in hell I'm going down the corporate road. There's no way in hell I'm going to be, I don't know why. And that was really my on my knees moment. And it was not a moment. It was years.
Mm-hmm.
It was years.
That's the other thing too. I think it's like easy to say it was a moment.
Yeah.
It was cultivated over, when I say those like 5 years that I think wasn't right, but I was like, holding it all together.
Yeah.
It was trying to come out.
And why? Like the question for me, and I heard you say too, like, why am I not happy with all of the things that I have that we aspire to in our culture? Go get married, get the job, be successful, climb the ladder, have money, you know, have things, house, cars, try to have the babies. And yet you on paper, because you said on paper twice, on paper, everything looked great. And then on paper, you lost everything. And I should have been, right? It's like, how about we don't live on paper anymore? Like, we actually are living like right here and connected, and really connected. So what would you say, you know, because here's what I'm seeing. The parallels that I'm seeing is your breakdown to breakthrough, your phoenix rising out of the ashes, your letting everything go and just being in a state of, I don't know, like complete surrender. I stepped off the cliff. You know, it's just, I've moved, I've taken that leap. That's the opportunity. I believe we always have that opportunity, but I believe we get those, like, first it's a poke, first it's a tap, then it's like a shove, then it's like a two-handed shove, then it's like a 2x4 over the head. That's that's been my experience. Like, I'm not going to listen. I'm not going to listen. I'm not going to listen. And one of the things that I know, you know, I call myself a truth speaker. And what I do is I help women discover the truth of who they are, which is this conversation. Who are you really? Right? You're a spiritual being. Great. What are you here to do? Great. Let's go do that. Right? Which seems like step 1, step 2, step 3, but the resistance is, but I've built this life. I've got the things, husband, the house, the kids, the job, whatever it is that we think is, because I've played that out as well, that we think is going to make us happy. And yet here we are with this unrest. And what I speak into this, because what I see is there are so many people who are like, I don't want to look at the truth. Kind of like what you were like, I don't want to look at it.
Yeah.
If I look at it, I don't know what's on the other side of it, meaning it's too scary to look at that. What would you say in these times is the opportunity?
Because you can't control it.
Exactly.
But my thing was like, if I really opened my mouth and talk about the disconnect that I'm feeling in my marriage and the fact that I can't breathe and that I can't even explain, like, it's going to end. It's going to hurt someone. There's going to be consequences. Like I get not wanting to look at the truth or look at that thing. So something really interesting happened to me, just fitting in this conversation. There was did you see the global meditation that was going around?
Yes.
Okay. So it was 10:45 my time to do it. I'm sitting in bed and I'm like, I'm going to show up to do this global meditation, to give to the planet and just to give, to, put in my like 2 cents. And prior to that, I had an awful day full of regret about us not moving. We've had the opportunity to do a few adventures. We've been looking for a new place to call home for a while, and it was like gnawing away at me. And we had decided to do a little car trip up to an area that's like an hour from here, that's a little more remote, has trails for us. And when I was there, I was thinking, this is so peaceful. I'd love to live here. But there's a few things that I kind of wasn't sure about. So I guess it's not a fit. So do this global meditation, 10:45. I'm tuning in, here to give. Do I not drop in? And as soon as I drop in, there's all this personal stuff there for me. Messages, all of these things. And the thing that I was told was, you don't have to turn a blind eye. I thought, what does this mean? You don't have to turn a blind eye. That the turning of the blind eye, like the not wanting to look at the truth.
Yeah.
And I have felt this way many times.
Yeah.
Even in my current partnership, there's a belief somewhere, and I think maybe it's from seeing my parents get divorced, that if a piece isn't fitting, and I acknowledge that piece isn't fitting, then I have to leave.
Right.
Like a black or white. Do you know what I mean? Like it's
totally.
like in or out.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, 95% is really good. So like I don't really want to look at that piece.
Yeah.
So the message there for me, the wisdom was, you don't have to turn a blind eye, and that piece is actually what keeps you out of alignment, because that piece is not love, and everything is love. That's what the wisdom was saying. Everything is love. I was like, okay. And that it's the actual looking at the piece that transfers it back to love. And I was like,
so not taking the 5% and being like, I don't want to look at it. I don't want to look at it. I don't want to look at it. But actually looking at it allows it to what? Say more about that.
Think of it this way. I'm intending something. I'm intending whatever it is, right? And I'm really excited about it. And we are 90% of the way there, of the project, of the business, of the move, whatever it is. But in the corner, in my mind, it kind of looks like there's something that might be fucking up. It's like, it's not the greatest area, or, you know what, I think so-and-so is going to be a problem, but we're going to keep plowing through. So if I have my energy, and it's like I spread it out, my energy is love, I spread it out, I got 10 pieces or 100 of it, I want to look, right? I don't want to look there, so I'm not putting any there. So this bucket's empty. The one that I kind of don't want to look at. What if it is as simple as deciding and being willing to fill the bucket? And how you fill the bucket is with your attention. That was the thing I didn't get before. I thought, no, that's not enough to change it. Like it doesn't fit. Don't you get? Like it's a puzzle piece. It doesn't fit. It's never a puzzle piece that doesn't fit. It's all wieldable. It's all transformable. It's all up for alchemizing. You do it all of the time. So the message that whoever had for me and I have for you is, you don't have to turn a blind eye.
Yeah.
That habit, that reflex, what if that's doing the damage and it's not even the thing that you're so worried about underneath?
Yeah.
That thing of not wanting to look at the truth, that it's simply, what if it's just simply the not wanting to look?
Yeah.
Not even what the truth is. People are like, oh God, what if the truth is that I'm awful, or we're not supposed to be together, or like I made the world's biggest mistake and now I'm going to know and I'm going to die. And it's like,
I'm going to die and lose everything. I know.
The dot.
Yeah.
looking at it
Yeah.
that is operating it in your life and where the change happens.
I love it. I love it. What do you see as like the opportunity for humanity?
Oh.
Like what is like if you were to say, for those people who are like, I'm scared, or this is awful, or I want it to go back to the way it was, or they're just in resistance to what's occurring, which is reality, which is the present moment. What can you say to give them, like, to give people who are struggling encouragement or hope or the ability to actually see this as an opportunity?
Yeah. So the first thing I'd say is me too. That's the truth of it. There are days where I'm like, I want to go and see the people I love. I know it will fill me back up, wrap my arms around them. Like, I don't want to be doing this. And secretly somewhere I'm hoping that in 12 days, this is going to blow over. And we're going to be saying, like, remember the memes from whatever it was? And thank God we never see it again. It's done. I don't have to look at it. I'm me too. And at the same time, what is unraveling for me is a whole new beginning. And how I know this is because all of these endings. There's no ending, beginning, it just happens.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if the opportunity is like you're allowed to be upset, you're allowed to be afraid, you're allowed to be angry, you're allowed to blame, you're allowed to it's these people's fault or whatever it is. Let yourself feel all of that. And the thing that I was thinking of today is, if let's just say we are moving to this enlightened state.
Yeah.
There was something, and I'm going to say it wrong. Not a Schwann meter. What is it called? The meter? That's, you know what I mean? What is it called? We were talking about last night. She's like, it's not a Schwann meter. What's the meter that they're used to measure the meditation? Do you know that meter? It kind of matters. Okay, so there's this particular instrument. It starts SH something, and they measure light and in frequency. So they were able to say that when everyone was meditating at that time, it was off the charts. It was some way of scientifically being able to prove that something had changed.
Yeah.
And the reason that I'm saying this is, if that is where we're headed, where you can take a baseline of humanity consciousness, and that we're headed to we're going up here into the light area, right? And that's going to happen for everyone. It's not going to happen through me shoving you into seeing this big an opportunity, for me telling you it's a goddamn opportunity, embrace it, motherfucker. Embrace it, and if you don't embrace it, this is why you had problems in the first place. If you see those things where it's if you're not doing if you're not doing what you want to now, the problem was essentially always you, and not that there's all kinds of stuff like that. And I thought, I don't believe it's going to be that way. I believe it's going to be everyone looking at where they haven't wanted to look before.
Yeah.
And everyone allowing the endings in their life.
Yeah.
What they personally need to end.
Yeah.
So that collectively we all go together.
Yeah.
And that's going to be, for some people, rage.
Right.
For some people, depression. I know I have friends that are struggling with emotional eating right now. I had this lady that I absolutely love. She's a coach. She's someone I look up to. Just shared a video, and she's saying, this is the most shameful video I've ever shared in it. And she's basically coming clean and saying, I suffer from bulimia. And right now it's at an all-time high, and it killed me to see it. It really hurt. And I thought, why does it hurt so much? And it was a label of her saying it was shameful, but I get that in that moment she was feeling shame. That's what she wanted to convey. Not that it's so much as shameful, but she was feeling it. And this is something, the word she said, it sparked this knowing that she said, I'm sharing this because this demon, what I struggle with, is tricky, and it's sneaky, and it outwits me, and I can't do it alone.
Yes.
Now, this is someone who successfully, you have never seen this before. In the public eye, it's never come out. But for whatever reason, at this moment in time, it's coming. And guess what? If there was ever going to be an ending for her of the shame, because you see the way she was she was saying the word 5 times in her, what she shared, this is going to be it. And when she she mentioned the idea that like this I don't want, demon isn't the right word, but this thing almost like
yeah,
haunting her.
yeah.
It was on her back and it was outwitting her. And the thought that came to her mind, it was a crazy one, was, huh, what if this virus isn't here to take down us? What if this virus is here to take down them? The monkey on the back, the thing that
The
has
thing we're hiding, the thing
kept
that's in the
you
closet.
in
Yep.
somewhere where you don't want to go, where you're like, people can't know.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's getting uncomfortable, it's getting itchy, I'm gonna get a one, I'm gonna shove it down, let it go back in 2 weeks. Like, there's something under that, do you know? And I wish that's something that gets to come out.
Yeah, that's I just did a post. You can look on my, I don't know if you saw it on my page. It was about like the truth is ready to emerge. Like the truth of who you are is ready to emerge. That small voice, for so many of us, it's a small voice that's in it. That's like, hey, you're awesome. You could do anything. You know, you're meant for every possibility, every abundance, every joy. That's who you actually are. You're not the demon that's in the closet. You're not that. And yet, when we shine the light on that and we go, here's what's really occurring for me, we shine the light on pieces of our humanity that is the dark pieces. We shine the light on it. And what it does is it unites. So she's probably, I'm going to guess, she's probably getting this outpouring of me too. And maybe it's not bulimia. Maybe it's drugs. Maybe it's alcohol. Maybe it's Netflix. Maybe it's video games.
Yeah.
It's something that we do to numb ourselves from not looking at our own truth, for not, and this is my belief. I come from this place. We're all meant to discover the truth of who we are. The reason we come here is so that we can actually remember our divinity, remember who we actually are. Not mom, not daughter, not wife, not employee, not business owner, not any role that we ever play, ever, you know, because you had it.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
You had it. That wasn't your truth. And it could have been at some point, but at some point, it also, we either outgrow it or we deepen our knowledge of who we are and why we're here. And for as long as we're denying that, the unrest, the why am I not happy? I don't know, but I'm just going to go over here and I'm going to binge, or I don't know, I'm going to go over here and I'm going to drink.
Yeah.
And that works until it doesn't work. Like, hats off to her. Hats off, because she's now giving other people permission to tell the fucking truth.
Yeah, but that's the soil that we're on. Like,
absolutely.
And when I thought, like, when I think of, okay, so if, and this might not be everyone's going, but if in like my experience is mountaintop, like a place you're going to be, is that you have this level of abundance cellularly, that everything that you've been praying for, like, you know, how else would I show you the truth of how powerful you are, what you truly are capable of, without letting it go?
Yeah.
You have wings, and I've been walking around with these little stilts that I use on the top of mountains when I have wings on my back, right? Until you take away the stilts and I feel the wind in my wings, and I'm probably going to cry that you took the stilts away and say, don't you know I need those? I can't survive. We have an economy. Where am I going to get money from?
Right.
We're going to burn. You're going to starve. Like, until that is released, then you have an experience. How do you know? I shared on the call that we were doing for thought leaders. I've been watching my children, I have a 4-year-old and a 5-year-old, all week create. And they haven't just created, all they've been doing is creating resources for what their vision is. They've been building crazy things in my house. The beds are all stripped of linen. They take all the cushions. They even found Christmas lights. Like, they do. Sorry if you can hear my dog. It's never the kids.
It's just the dog. Fully self-expressed dog. Yeah.
Watching probably what is my children and Jason outside walking, so that no one would disturb us.
Yes.
So they have the vision, and they naturally create the resources. Naturally. Yeah. Out of thin air. Yeah. No one sat down and was like, guys, we have 3 sticks and a couple pieces of paper. What do you want to do today?
Or I guess we can't do this. Like we only have the 3 sticks and the 1 piece of paper. Like, guess we can't do this thing that we were supposed to do because it needs to look that way. They got resourceful.
Yes.
Yeah.
So like, if that is the truth of you, if that is the truth that you came here with that trait, you'll always have it. You'll leave with it. It's one of the beautiful, miraculous things of being a human soul.
Yeah.
You are standing on the most beautiful cliff with the perfect wind in your sails, in your wings, to see and know that you can fly.
Yeah. I'll say this last thing about what I see as the opportunity of letting go, surrendering the known. The known is what we've always, the known is the construct that we've been living in. And let's not say that it's all going away, right?
Yep.
But let's just say, as of this present moment, what we know, how we make money, how we shop, how we live is basically like, hold on, we're not doing any of that right now. And so now human beings are knowledge seekers. Like, I am safe when I know what my boundary is. I'm safe when I know what the rules are. I'm safe when I know what I can and cannot do, meaning I'm in this box of reality. And as we are attached to knowing, what we close off and shut down is the possibility for something new.
Yeah.
So that's why that's why I'm in love with this time, because I'm like this. Everything in my life is up for renegotiation.
Yeah.
How I run my business, what programs I offer, how I deal with my kids, like what I'm creating in my marriage, if I actually need this house. Like, I'm not kidding you.
Oh, I get it.
The opportunity is, take a look. What do you love and what do you not? Because there are no rules.
Yeah.
They've been created. We live in a construct. We live within societal norms.
Yep.
And some of those like crush our soul. So it's within the knowing that we're safe. Like, we're safe. It's in the knowing of the rules and the structures and the brilliance, the creation of life, everything that we've ever wanted, dreamed of, hoped for, prayed for, thought, wow, that would be amazing, is on the other side of our knowing. Because when we don't know, anything's possible and everything is possible. That's creativity.
Absolutely. When you're speaking, I even think of the loose rules that people have around like manifesting. If you follow in like manifesting your abundance or the secret stuff, and that if you know what's going to happen, where you're like, I'd love, like, I'm dying inside. I would love to leave this job. I would love whatever, but I also know I need to make money. This can go back 2 weeks. You have already set out there the destination. You've already written the ending. If you follow Greg Brayton, he talks a lot about like holographic realities, and it can kind of hurt your head, because the idea that the past, the present, the future are actually kind of happening at the same time.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But it is scientific and quantum physics. But the thing
smart people know a lot about this. Yeah.
It's kind of like but the thing that I love to keep from that is, if you are casting your net of what the end result is, the one, if nothing else, beautiful thing of not knowing, as it's an unknown variable, which means it could be anything. And she even said this in the book, like it could be anything. Versus in the past, if you've had that reaction, which so many people have to keep, it's how we work to keep us safe, that's been taken away, that you don't know. You kind of don't know if you're going back to work.
Yeah.
You don't know what's going to happen after with the government. Is this the last fire? Is this the first fire? Is this like, you could go on and on. And there's so much fear that could be in that, but it's because there's so much uncertainty. But with the uncertainty is actually what comes a possibility. That's why that leveling of your life, when you burn it all to the ground, there's total uncertainty, because there's nothing left to be certain of.
Yeah,
there's
right.
no things. Do you know what I mean? Before it was like, well, I have the house.
Yep.
I have the husband. I have the something. But when you have leveled all of it, you look around and there's nothing. But that's why people start there. That's why that's where the phoenix rises from.
Yeah. Yes. It's, your question is what if, right? Like Kimberly's the what if, like the what if. My question right now has been, now what? And that's been something that's really like, okay, now what? Because in any moment, well, what if like this happens? What if this devastating outcome happens? Okay, well, is it here now? No. Okay, great. Well, then now what? Like right now what? Like now in this moment, who are you going to be about it? What are you going to create? Okay, I have one more question for you that I'm asking everyone.
Yeah.
Or I just started asking like my last 3 interviews. And you just get to answer it however you want to answer it. What's the meaning of life?
Kristen.
Come on now.
To fully experience it all. The sense that I get is that you would pay. You lined up for this. You pulled, like you brought so many pieces together for this lifetime to happen for you to be here, right now, so that you can experience the separateness, so that you can experience pain. I think there are the possibility that there are beings that would want to feel your pain. What does it feel like? What does it feel like to be separate? What does it feel like to have huge joy, to have huge sorrow, to feel it all? So the meaning of life for me is like that experience, like to play from the very top note to the very bottom note with an attachment to what it looks like.
Yeah. I love it. Yay. Okay. So let's talk about the free gift that you're offering.
Yes. So I work as a coach in this world, and I am offering, it'll probably work to be about like 5 free coaching calls. But I've opened up my schedule for you guys over the next 3 days. And my invitation is, if you are, you know what, even just feel into it. I'm not even going to put parameters around it. This is for you. Yeah. Reach out. We'll chat.
Okay. Great. So how to get access to booking the call with Kimberly is to go to soulwitandwisdom.com, and you will put your name and your email address in there, and you'll get access to her free gift. So look for her beautiful picture and her name, and you'll see the link to get on her calendar to book a call. Awesome. Yeah, Kimberly, thank you so much for just being being courageous enough to, who you are. For me, my experience of you is someone who was willing to lose it all, was really willing to burn everything down to the ground, which is what you said, so that you could discover the truth of yourself, so that you could discover why you were, why there was something that was gnawing at you, that wasn't fulfilled. And that is one of the most courageous acts that we get to do as a human being. So who you are for me is courageous. You're bold. You to me are a truth speaker, and I adore you. I absolutely love you.
Thank you. I'm almost just you are so gracious with your words. Sometimes when I'm with you, I feel like I'm 14 again. When it's like, boy texts you, he's like, he likes you, and I'm like, I can't even look. Kristen,
look, girl, sister, look, look. Yeah, good. All right, guys, thank you for watching. Again, soulwitandwisdom.com to get Kimberly's free gift, and we'll see you next time. Bye.